Hey, this is Stu Schaefer. I'm so glad you're here. You have just found the most amazing channel for weight loss, especially for women over 50 and perimenopause and menopause. So first, I'm going to talk about the big problem, why things are so different, how to get your body to burn fat automatically all the time. But before I do that, I just want to explain who I am and how I figured all this out. My name is Stu Schaefer. I'm a 20-year celebrity weight loss coach. I'm the best-selling author of 2 books and have been featured on different news programs all over the country. I've worked with men and women, ages 7 all the way up to in their 70s. And over the last 20 years, almost 25 now, I've discovered an amazing way to get your body to burn fat automatically all the time, and especially if you're over 40 and 50 and dealing with perimenopause and menopause. Now, to be honest with you, the way I figured this out was on accident. I had been working with clients doing very well until I met one client. She was in her 50s, deep into menopause, and no matter what we did, she could not lose weight. We tried low carb, we tried calorie restriction, we tried fasting, we tried the grapefruit diet, we tried extra water. I was beating her up in the gym for an hour and a half every single day. She would not drop a pound. Months and months and months, I started researching to try to figure out what the heck is going on here. And I finally figured it out. There's something called repressed metabolic syndrome. This is a fancy term. All that means is you accidentally end up shutting down your own metabolism. And then you can't burn fat at all, and then when you eat, you automatically store fat. Then I discovered this was happening with almost every woman over 40 from years of dieting or exercising incorrectly or eating incorrectly. You would develop this repressed metabolic syndrome, or RMS. Your metabolism shuts down and then you can't burn fat. This is, by the way, why sometimes it feels like you can spend weeks being strict, lose a couple pounds, and then look at a piece of bread and you gain it back, okay? Now, the good news is I figured out how to reverse this, and there's only one way. You have to put your body into something called the thermogenic state. All this means is, it's another fancy term, you switch your body over, you activate the right hormones, the right enzymes, and the right chemical reactions that gets your body to burn fat automatically 24/7. You essentially reset your metabolism and you reactivate your body's fat burning mechanism. And when you do this, it now becomes easier to burn off body fat and harder to gain fat. So when I did this and discovered this and figured it out, the floodgates opened. Everything was amazing. All my clients, we shifted gears. They actually started eating more, exercising less. They had no more cravings. They never had to restrict anything. They stopped counting calories. Their energy went through the roof. And get this, their hormones even balanced naturally, which, as you know, in perimenopause and menopause is a big deal. So I'm going to be talking about these things, how to do this. This is going to be the best weight loss channel you ever find. You're absolutely going to want to subscribe to this. So what's the problem? Well, the big problem is when you hit midlife, 40s, 50s, somewhere in there, you hit perimenopause and menopause. Hey, all the stuff that used to work, it doesn't work anymore. Or maybe all of a sudden, like overnight, you start gaining weight. Or, this happens a lot. You start gaining weight and you're watching yourself gain the weight. You don't know what the heck is happening. You don't know what to do about it. You're just watching the weight creep on and on, especially around the midsection or the hips. Or you're trying to lose weight. You're doing all these different diets. You're trying keto or fasting. You're trying cutting calories. You're trying all the low carb, everything you can think of. And maybe you'll get some results initially, but then it stops and you start going up again. Or your energy is just gone. You just don't have that spark anymore. This is typically what happens when a woman hits midlife or perimenopause and menopause, but it doesn't have to be that way. If you understand how to eat right, if you understand how to eat the right food at the right time in the right combination, to shift your body into this special fat burning state, the thermogenic state that I'm going to show you, The whole world is going to change. You're going to get your energy back. Your hormones are going to balance. You're going to be able to burn off body fat so quickly, faster and easier than ever before. And you're not going to have to spend hours in the gym or do any kind of crazy exercise. Say goodbye to counting calories and restricting. Well, let's look at what's possible. Let me give you a couple of case studies here and what you can expect. I'm so glad you're here, and I hope you'll stick with me all along the journey. But let me talk about Cheryl. Cheryl was in her 60s when she came to me. And again, she had no energy. She had been doing keto. She had been doing fasting. And the doctor just told her, welcome to menopause. This is just how it's going to be. And Cheryl said, no way. So when I talked with Cheryl, all we did was we made a few tweaks to her nutrition. She had to eat a lot more. She's actually a horticulturist or a gardener down in Florida. So she had to eat almost twice as much as she had been eating. Now think about that, twice as much. And exercising less. Within a week, her energy came back. Within 12 weeks, she lost almost 20 pounds. And it was absolutely incredible. She couldn't believe that her doctor had just told her, you're gonna have to settle for this. But it doesn't matter how old you are, even in your 60s, you can burn off body fat and totally reclaim your body and your freedom. Let's look at Emily. Emily was in her 40s, and Emily had hormones shifting. And all of a sudden, she started gaining weight around the midsection. Now, Emily had been fit most of her life. She was a former beauty queen. And when she looked in the mirror, she couldn't believe what she saw. Well, in just about 4 weeks, yeah, you're hearing me right, 4 weeks, she lost 20 pounds. Why? Because when we changed her food combinations, the amount of food she was eating, the timing, and having her do the right type of exercise for her age, everything clicked. She turned on her metabolism, she turned on her fat burning mechanism, and she lost weight incredibly fast without depriving, without cutting calories. It was absolutely incredible. Let's look at another case study, Robin. Robin was in her 50s, and she had been around the block. She was a fitness instructor. She had always been into working out. Well, all the stuff she had been doing before wasn't working anymore. Her body had shifted. And this is a key point. The stuff you used to do that worked, it ain't gonna work anymore. When Robin and I shifted her nutrition, added food, again, she had to eat more, exercise less. When she made those changes, she dropped weight faster and easier than she ever had. In fact, she was eating more than her husband. They laughed about that. And she couldn't believe how much she was able to eat and lose weight that quickly. And then last, Carolyn. Many women develop gut issues, autoimmune disorders, and thyroid issues because they're not eating correctly and they're not exercising correctly. And in midlife or perimenopause and menopause, this creeps up. Carolyn was no different. She had a debilitating autoimmune disease. She was working with a specialist doctor for it. They could not get it figured out. And all the while, every year, she would gain more and more weight. Well, in just 12 weeks, Carolyn lost around 20 pounds, and the weight just came off. She burned off body fat, completely transformed her physique, and her autoimmune went dormant. She had no more pain. She didn't have to do blood transfusions. She had never felt so good. In fact, she was really upset that her own doctor, who was a specialist, couldn't figure this out with her, but that I could. Anyway, regardless, she was glad that she connected with me. We're going to talk about all of these principles on this channel. You're in for a treat. If it's felt like you can't find the right answers for weight loss and everything that seems to work for other people doesn't work for you, there's specific reasons for that. We're going to be covering that on this channel. So you got to make sure you subscribe, like, stick around, because you're going to get all the answers you're looking for to get the fastest and easiest weight loss in perimenopause, menopause, over 50, over 60, even over 70. You're in the right place, and I'm so glad you're here. I'll talk with you soon.